Welcome to this week's Hit the Bar, the Shrimps fans panel. This week we have Jimmy, we have Gareth back with us, and we have Tanya. Tanya, we'll come to you probably a little bit later because I know you weren't at the latest two games, but we do want to talk about off-field issues again, and you're the person who can give us a bit more insight, I think. We've got Bradford game first, hell of a game, and a really hard-fought win. Do you think it was the sending off that turned it, or were we already in it there?
I think we were very much in it. Very close game. Wasn't not a lot in it. They had a couple of good chances first half, and then obviously McAdam hit the post. Second half really tight, and then the sending off seemed to get the crowd going, and then obviously Sluey scored. I fancied us an extra time with the extra man anyway, but you want to get it done in 90 minutes if you can. So really good performance, solid, hard work. They weren't anything special, I didn't think. Great result and just what the club needed.
Yeah. And did you see it the same, Jimmy? I mean, we played them earlier in the season, and I thought it went a similar way. Really, nothing in it at all. But
they're a football playing side, aren't they? Or they seem to be. They try to play football. We're a little bit long ball. I think we set up differently. So the midfield, Songo and White, who was fantastic by the way. What a change he has doing coming back into the squad and getting fit. But they played really wide, like between the lines of the right back, left back, and centre halves, and we nullified 21 and 7.
Sorry.
Yeah, we nullified their midfield. So I don't know whether it's tactically we set up to nullify them getting the ball up front. A couple of balls did come in, and he's a scary striker, and he nearly got a few of them. But really impressed with the way we played, though. It was all about effort, wasn't it? And we were tired though for last night. Because of the effort.
We'll come to that in a minute, but great that we get through. Great that we get money from winning that game, and then of course we had the draw on Monday night. Just talk us through you watching that and some of the games and some of the fixtures coming up.
Well, obviously there was a big Man United Arsenal came out, and then obviously Accrington got Liverpool away, and I was really cursing, thinking Accrington, how have they managed that? And then obviously we got Chelsea away, and I thought it's great news because obviously when we went last time nobody could go, and I thought that was it really. I thought we'd end up with Leyton Orient away, and obviously there's some brilliant draws, wasn't there? Salford at Man City, Harrogate and Leeds. Great day. Just hope it's on the Saturday so the fans can all benefit. But what a fantastic draw!
I think you hope it's on the Saturday as well, don't you, Jimmy? Because you not book your accommodation within 2 seconds or something.
I was sat there with Booking.com open, waiting. Chelsea. So I'm at the double tree, booked, built in. Yeah, really happy about it. I can't wait. I mean, hopefully Palmer plays and Jackson up front and players like that against. That'd be brilliant to watch.
Well, apparently they've got 38 internationals, haven't they? So why decide to put out?
Well, they've got a second. We're talking about the Chelsea game now, and they've got a whole second team that could finish, I think, at least halfway up the Premier League anyway. So
and you feel
excited about the draw.
Can't wait. It'll be like the Tottenham match where we were one in front, and then Kane and Young Son off the bench. You just say right.
And who've we got?
We've got Dackers.
Charlie Brown might get her on that.
I mean, do you go into that game with any hope of any kind of upset whatsoever or not?
I mean, it's a part of the bus, Derek, can't it? It's a part of the bus.
It's the cup. That's what it's all about.
It's one of those where we just want to put a good performance out, don't we? We want it to be respectable, put a good performance out, and enjoy the day.
Yeah, we've got a few lads who've come from. So Adam Lewis, played at Liverpool. Reece Williams again. They'll be wanting to show a Premier League side that they're still can mix it with them kind of boys, aren't they? So if anything, it's going to spur our lads on to play very well, I hope.
Well, we're all looking forward to that one anyway. You mentioned the tough game that we had against Bradford and the impact that it might have had at Tranmere. Do you think that was a factor in the Tranmere game?
I think second half, I know we did go defensively second half, but I think the last 20 minutes we were running on empty, weren't we? Yeah. That's why I think it was such a good point.
Yeah, I agree.
If people are saying, we threw it away, we should have carried on playing the way we were doing, but at the end of the day, if you've got tired bodies, you can't always play the way you want to play.
Because they'd had a week off, hadn't they? They played the previous Tuesday, but didn't have a game at weekend.
So I think it was a great point, and that point would be crucial at the end of the season.
Yeah. They were relentless second half. I was watching it on the telly, and they just came.
It was a good point.
But I mean, they're bringing on a substitute, Omar Patrick, who, we've seen him before at Carlisle, different places. if he was available to us, we'd snap him.
Yeah.
You know, we'd absolutely, and he'd be one of our better players. And they're bringing him off the bench. You know, so. Yeah. I think Tom White again. You mentioned Tom White. We keep going on about him, but he's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And I just liked he gave a really mature interview after the Tranmere game, where he was saying, you know, we were running on empty, our legs had gone a bit, but it was that determination that kept us going, and they weren't cutting us open or anything like that. I really liked the way he was talking. He said, I said when I went into the dressing room, that was one of the, as if he's got quite a voice in the dressing room. I was impressed by him.
I just think at the moment there's a bit of a feel-good factor around the club. I know we've got the ownership issues going on, but the results have taken an upturn, and we're keeping the momentum going. That performance last night has kept things going as well. Get a decent result on Saturday, and I think things going into Christmas. I remember coming on here sort of mid-October saying, let's just try and be in touch come the new year. Well, we're more than in touch now, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's the important thing. 1 point, you know, the 1 points that you can keep picking up. It's not great if you're at the top of the division and the other teams around you are winning. But, you know, last night we saw Carlisle, you know, Accrington, Swindon. You know, they're not picking up the points, so each point you get,
absolutely. And any point away from home is a decent point.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people like working and stuff around the country, and they go, tough time for Morecambe fans, and I'm like, you're not watching them. You can't be watching Morecambe's performances if you're that worried about where we are, because it's weird, isn't it, with the run that we've had. But I'm just quietly confident that we'll get ourselves out of it. We've heard that Derek's going to get a budget in January, which, if is the case, he's got a really good foundation to build on. And then, we came out of the relegation zone last night, so. For me, it's weird. It's positive, isn't it? Like
but it's good because we've been sitting here and we've been saying week after week, you know, how the team gets applauded off the pitch. The bottom of the league, they've been bottom of the league virtually all season. They still get applauded off the pitch because we know the effort they're putting in. Yeah. And we've said to people, like you say, don't worry, we're playing good football and the results will come. But at the back of your mind, you're always thinking, if they don't, we're going to look really stupid. Yeah. But they are. Well, they're getting the rewards now, aren't they?
As well, now we've had 3 away wins and another good point last night. So at some point, we're going to pick up those home wins, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're not going to go all season not pick up some home wins. So we get 3 or 4 home wins on the back of the 3 or 4 away wins, and then all of a sudden you're going to get 9, 10 wins. You're not going to be far off staying up.
I think there was a run of 5 games, those 1-0 losses, where we were talking about that was a bit unlucky, and that could have gone the other way. And I think now in matches, those things are going our way. So they're sending off at Bradford. I remember the first game of the season against Walsall, they should have had a man sent off, which they didn't. And it's all we're in our period where we're kind of getting that back now. So Adam Lewis's goal last night, you know, he meant it, or did he?
Was it his or was it Paul Lewis's?
A few games ago, that had been 3 inches the other side of the box, and we'd have all been going, oh, that was a nearly chance. Whereas we're on that run now where those things are going in, players are getting sent off, you know. And
the teams that we were very narrowly losing against or not winning, you know, having a draw when we thought we could have won them, they've turned out they're the better sides. You know, they've turned out to be top of the table sides that we've done that against.
Yeah, is it the next 6 games we're playing 5 teams around? They're all bottom half teams.
Yeah, we've got Cheltenham, haven't we? I mean, Grimsby will be tough. That'll be a tough game. I think, is it Dave Artell's there, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's managing them, and they've sort of, because they started off pretty poorly, but...
It was a Port Vale match for me. We just didn't look out of place. It didn't look like they came
Chesterfield either, really.
Battered us. No, it wasn't until the last 20 minutes that they started scoring, and it's those things that you hold on to and go, do you know what? On our day, I think we could beat anybody.
And also Carlisle and Bromley, massive games. We mustn't lose those games because it keeps them with us.
Cheltenham away.
Yeah, they're all winnable, and even Grimsby. When you look, apart from smashing Accrington, I think they've only won 1-0 most weeks, so they're not prolific scorers, are they? So maybe it could be an interesting game. You know,
it'll be tough, but we go into it with a lot more confidence.
Absolutely,
and then we've got Lincoln in the Virtue Cup.
Yeah,
and that's more money available. Are you chuffed that it's Lincoln we've got and not somebody a bit lower down, or how do you say that one?
Well, you never know what side they're going to put out, do they?
No.
You know, Lincoln might rest a couple of players.
Well, they are sort of, at the moment, they're on the verge of the playoffs. You know, I was looking at who we could get, and I was thinking Lincoln or Huddersfield would be all right for me because they're both aiming for those playoffs, so this might not be their priority.
Absolutely not.
No. But then Derek plays a few extra players in there that don't normally get a game. It's worth them playing someone of a decent quality to give them a proper run and test it. So,
well, it
for
is
the squad,
as well
you know,
because if he needs to call on them, he wants them to be match ready, doesn't he?
Ready.
So it's not just rotating the squad to give all the players a rest. It's making sure that if he needs to call on a George Ray, or Charlie Brown, even, or those types of players, they need to be match ready. I think it's a good, it's a good cut to use.
We've got both goalkeepers available now as well, which is
Yeah.
So who's going to play when?
What do you think about that? Stuart Moore, I mean, he doesn't usually put people on the bench if they can't come on, so he must be fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's just...
He has this thing, Derek
Harry's been doing all right.
He has this thing, Derek Adams, if you're playing well and you've got the shirt, no matter who's waiting behind you, you're going to keep it.
Well, we saw that with O'Connor a couple of years ago when he got injured and
Harry
thought he would walk straight
Harry's
back
done
in.
well, hasn't he? So at the
Did
moment,
a couple last night, second half.
the cross as well for the first goal.
Yes. But he gives us an attachment for it.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean by that is how far he kicks that ball.
Yeah.
And if you're aiming for a Dackers, he seems to be able to pick him out. But Stuart Moore, when he kicks, I don't have a clue where that's going.
It was a Swindon match when it was blowing a gale, and he was still pelting it.
Yeah, he was.
He weren't giving up on that, were he?
But he might give us something in an attacking sense. He doesn't look. But both keepers don't come out, do they? They're not.
I think Stuart does a little bit more than Harry,
yeah.
but they're both good shot stoppers as well.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's nice to have the two of them.
I think Harry's more decisive, releasing the ball back into play, and that's what I like about him. I'd rather have Stuart coming out and collecting, but Harry's distribution is far more decisive than Stuart's is, and I think that's one bit in Stu's getting where I look and go, come on, just get rid of. Come on, let's.
When there's opportunities quickly to roll it out to add him or to.
That Jordan Pickford thing where he lies on the floor. I'm like, there's 60 seconds left in this match. You've got to stand up.
So what the cross that came in, he'd just been shouted at quite aggressively by Hendry. And then he just came for that one and got nowhere near it. So maybe if he hadn't been shouted at, he might have stayed in his net.
Yeah, Hendo was rollicking him, wasn't he?
So on the pitch, we're quite excited, obviously, about the Chelsea draw. We've got some exciting games coming up. We're quite positive about all that. Don't want to bring a downer to it, but we've had a couple of announcements this week. We've had the letter from, supposedly from Mr. Singh Momi, distancing himself from Sarjot, which was the rumour that was going about, and we take that on face value. We either believe it or we don't, but we have to take what he says. Tony, you're chairman of the trust, and I know you wrote a letter after that. If I can sort of just summarise, the gist of it was, if you're genuine, come and talk to us. Basically, if he walked into this room now, what would you be asking him?
Yeah, I think why is he not communicating? And the main thing really is, why is that paperwork not been filed with the EFL? As far as we know, that's been going on since July. If you're any kind of reputable business owner with money, there should be a trail of where that is. We spoke to the EFL 2 weeks ago, and they said that this is the furthest the sale has progressed for Morecambe, but what they need to prove is source and sufficiency of funds. So what that leads us to believe is there is money there, but it can't easily be proved where that's come from, and where they have to prove that they can buy and fund the football club for the next few years. So if that money that they've got was a flash in the pan, the EFL are saying, well, what about the next 2 years? Where's that come in? So the questions would be around, why is that taking so bloody long? If you're reputable, it should be there.
It should be a straight phone call to your accountant, shouldn't it? And send it as an email. Here you go, 10 minutes job.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a frustration, and I think it's been well documented that the trust in the last year have had conversations with other interested parties who tell us that they're ready to go, and it's this thing of why are we waiting 5 months for this man and his associates to get this right, when actually, if Jason wants out and he wants done, why are we not looking at everybody that's on the table? So yeah, it's frustrating, and I keep saying to people, there's one thing wrong with Morecambe Football Club at the minute, and it's this situation, isn't it?
Because the rest of it is great, isn't it? The community side of it's brilliant.
The academy's fantastic.
The support is really good. It was fantastic again last night, and the good thing for me is we've got the Shrimps Trust, who are there and getting the fans together, and they're asking these questions. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's just pressure, and it's reassuring people that when you don't hear from us, it's not that we're not doing anything. we are doing things. I said before I came on this, we're making phone calls, we're speaking to journalists, we're trying to get the story out there. There's a finite amount of stuff that we can do. And since I took over the chair position, it was the main aim was transparency.
Yeah.
We'll post something every couple of weeks, even if the update is there is no update.
Yeah.
People want to know that, and that's something I'm trying to get across to the people working in the football club is, even if there's no update, just tell us that, tell us something, because it can be months and months before we hear anything. And then a random statement's put out on a Saturday night, for me, which took the shine a little bit off the win. It's like, we've won, do that on Monday, let us have Sunday to enjoy it. And it, almost every statement raises more questions, which, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have more on that as the weeks come. Hopefully, we'll get some clarity on it fairly soon. But for now, we'll talk to you next week about the 2 games that we've got in between, and up the Shrimps.